I'm Palak Patel. I'm a dermatology physician assistant at Sanford Fargo. This is my Blue Chair story.
I've always known. When I started doing my rotations, I just fell in love with dermatology, and that's all I've been doing for over 10 years now. Right now it's just me and my husband. This summer we're expecting a baby girl, but we both interviewed at Sanford together, so it was a mutual decision for both of us to come here together. We came here in March. It was still very cold for me. I was bundled up and his colleagues were in shorts and a t-shirt, and we just fell in love with the area. People are just super helpful. People just are so willing to help, which is not something you see in different communities. I have moved for my training and my husband's training to multiple different cities, and Fargo feels like home. I remember when we first interviewed, we found this grocery store that was like half Chinese and half Indian, and we were psyched. We still are psyched about it. A lot of the patients that I see every day are farmers. They're at higher risk, but I think everyone's at a risk here. But people in the summertime when the farmers are out, they're exposed to so much UV light. Most people don't wear sunscreen or some protective clothing. So even in our young patients, we've seen a huge increase of melanomas and non-melanoma skin cancers. We have noticed that our patients to wait until the diagnosis is a lot more worse than we would have caught it sooner. So it's very important for dermatology to go into rural areas just so we can find their skin cancers and melanomas earlier. Melanomas we do worry about, and we do see a lot more advanced cases of it in our rural areas because people just don't go in. I remember when I had a patient who would come to see me in Fargo and there was a spot on his head, and he was like, "Oh no, I hit my head, it's just not healing." I was like, "Well, how long ago was it?" And he was like, "It was about a year ago." And then we biopsied and it was a melanoma and it was metastatic. You know, when patients come in for a skin check, and a lot of times even just by looking at it, sometimes you just know that the prognosis is not going to be good. And it makes me very sad because I know a lot of it is preventable. It doesn't just affect them, it affects their families, it affects their friends, it affects their children. I think until it unfortunately happens to that person, people kind of keep doing what they normally do. And that's also kind of a sad part of my job, is that sometimes they come in with a huge sunburn and you're like, oh goodness, and they have a history of melanoma, and there's only so much you can say. And I think that part of my job is very difficult. But at least they're coming in, so I'm grateful for that. So everyone in my clinic is great with sunscreen every single day, rain, shine, or snow. But we're very outdoorsy. We love to be outside. We love to go hike. We love to go fish. And if you see me, I'm always wearing some protective clothing. I even have some protective leggings and a wiped brimmed hat. And we also have fishing hats where like the only part of the body you see is our eyes. So that goes for me and my husband. So all our photos were completely covered up, because we're just very cognizant about sun protection. Me more so than I make my husband do it. He's a wonderful gentleman and just does it because it makes me happy. I love going to work because we have a very supportive work environment. Our cohort of physicians and our cohort of our APPs and our nurses and our front desk staff are all in sync with each other. So even though I practice only in Fargo, I get messages from people all around Sanford, especially in our outreach locations or even beyond our outreach locations, about what to do, what not to do. Even hospital messages about, hey, my patient has lice, can you just help me with this? I'm like, sure, I'm happy to do so. And then we just kind of write a message, and it just provides so much access to care, just even in our community and to our rural locations. You always know that when you do go into work, you're always going to find someone to help you, no matter what it is. And there's always someone who's going to be willing to go that extra mile. So even just going to work and knowing that you have that kind of support, which I don't think a lot of people do, I think that's very important. And just like seeing my patients that I know they've waited for a while to come see me, I just love seeing them, and you just build relationships with them, and I love that part of my job. People come and see us in blizzards all the time. They do. We never have an empty schedule. People still come.